Hi, I'm Bob Spinozzi, and welcome to Small Town. You know that old saying when you haven't done something for a long time and you want to do or try it again? Oh, it's just like riding a bike. You'll remember how to do it. Now, if you take that saying literally, it doesn't sound right to me. Because with a bike, there's a lot more involved than just pedaling. First part of today's show is about bicycles. We're going over to Taylor Street to visit Craig Kilmer, who owns CK Bikes, one of the newer businesses in town. After that, I'm going to talk with Craig's neighbor across the street, Dave Erickson, who owns the Littleton Antique Stove Shop. Dave's going to tell us about the fountain he's working on in front of CK Bikes, a fountain that's been there since 1912. Many of you remember stopping at the fountain to have a drink of spring water. Now, we can't do that now, but it might be in our future. But before we get to that, let's go to CK Bikes and visit with Craig Kilmer. Craig, thanks so much for having me here.
Well, thank you very much for coming out. I really appreciate it. I feel honored.
We were going to do this back in March.
Right.
And of course the lockdown came, and in fact I think at the time you were in Puerto Rico. You were getting ready to go into a race?
Yep, which was canceled the Friday before the Sunday race, because of the COVID.
Right.
So, but hey, better safe than sorry.
Well, it's obvious that there are more and more people riding bikes since the lockdown. But for those of us who haven't been on a bike for a while, how do you get into it again?
The best way that I've seen how people get into it is they bring their bike in and they say, I want to get back riding again. And the cobwebs are bigger than the bike sometimes, which is great stuff. They're a little embarrassed, but we're not bike snobs, and we just show people that, we clean up their bikes for them. We check the brakes, the tires, the tubes, the cables, make sure there's no structural damage to the bike. A lot of people are finding bikes, they're old bicycles, neighbors' bikes, and in barns. It's amazing where all these bikes are coming from. And then when we take the bike and check it over and tune it up for them, then we take it out and test ride it and make sure it's safe. We do a safety check, a test ride, and then they come and we size them to the bike, and we push them on their way and say, there you go, come back when you need come back when you need some assistance with comfort and stuff like that, because a lot of times our bodies change so much all the time that if we haven't rode on a bicycle, normally our seats, our saddles are the problem, and we have comfort saddles for people to feel more comfortable riding, and that's the best way to get back on.
Get back into it.
A lot of people we've had well over 4,000 people in the shop here, and it's not in the shop, but bringing their bikes to us and stuff like that.
So you're getting some 10 speeds in here. Yeah. In my case, it would have been an old 3-speed.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
Yeah. So, and the Stanley Archer shifters, the old Fujis. Fuji was a big bike in the day, and the biggest thing is the saddles on those. You get the different saddle, and people are more comfortable. So.
Okay, now I mentioned the race you're going to be participating in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
But you are a trained triathlete.
Yep.
Tell us about some of the events that you've been in.
Well, I've been in I was a 270-pound man that said, hey, I can do that. I want to do that. And I was like, so I got a coach, a triathlon coach, an endurance coach. And the next thing you know, I'm training 5-6 days a week in order to do triathlons through proper training, stretching, nutrition, all those things. And I had a starter bike to get started, and losing weight, training, sweating. Next thing you know, my first race was a full Ironman up in Lake Placid, New York. We've done Puerto Rico a few times, and we've also done Texas. So it's a continuous improvement. It's like it's a continuous improvement with yourself, and it's one thing that you can never give up on.
Yeah, that's fantastic,
Yep.
obviously.
I was surprised I could do it, and I didn't realize what a real Ironman was, because you hear everyone saying, "Oh, I'm an Ironman, I'm an Ironman." It's like, oh, that's a word. Until you cross that finish line, then you really know what an Ironman is. And I was totally impressed afterwards. You know, after I think my first race was 15 hours out in the, you know, doing all the activities, and it just made me really appreciate the sport.
Now, I think you mentioned to me you were going to be going back to Puerto Rico soon?
Yep, we're going back. We're going back this March 15th, and we're doing Texas in April. So we do a half Ironman, then a full Ironman starting out, because we train all winter. Because our busy season is the spring and summer, so we train all winter and get ready for early spring events.
Okay.
So.
Now, we've talked about helping people with old bikes, but let's talk about CK Bikes.
Yep.
And my goodness, all the different kinds of bikes that you have here.
Well, let's start out with my favorite kind is a triathlon bike. We have a QR, we have a Ventum. The Ventum up in the window, that's one of the bikes. Then we have cyclocross bikes for dirt and gravel, or gravel bikes also. We have fat bikes for wintertime, sand in the woods, and we have the full-fledged mountain bikes. And also we have comfort bikes, which we're totally out of stock with, because they're the most popular selling bike. You know, the comfort bikes, it's a great bike to get started riding in with. And we also have some older steel bikes, a Peter Mooney, which we occasionally get, and some other road bikes. We have some nice Ventum road bikes, which we really like. I'm a Ventum dealer, and I'm really proud of it. So.
Okay, now you have a lot of bikes here. And back in the crunch time,
yep,
when there wasn't much production going on, did you have much of a problem getting inventory?
Well, we were fortunate enough to purchase a bunch of inventory before the pandemic took hold. I got early notice that Shimano and SRAM and a lot of my big resellers were tightening their belts and restructuring their programs they have. And after seeing the TV shows when I was in Puerto Rico, how the inventory on the stores went off the shelves real quick, I just started ordering products so I could get through. We had, and I purchased a lot of inventory from a bike shop in Greenfield that went out of business because the owner died, and we were able to purchase their products from them, which was a godsend because it saved a lot of repairs where we didn't have to turn people away. Yeah, I mean, that was really a great thing where we didn't have to turn people away. We had the supplies to take care of everything we needed. So.
Okay. Now, we're in the old Johnson's General Store. Later on, it became a liquor, wine, and beer store. But you're utilizing a lot of the old features of Johnson's back in the back, and we're going to be showing that. Is the old cold storage room.
Right.
And you're using that to store, is it tires right now?
Yeah, right now we have a variety of tires. It smells like a tire factory back there. All the old refrigeration units up in front have spokes, cables, housings, shifters, derailleurs, cassettes, you name it. I'm really blessed and honored to be where I'm at today. So.
Okay. Now, in addition to selling bikes, you do repair work here.
Yep.
You have full service repair.
Yep.
But you also offer classes
Yep.
to show people how to do preventive maintenance and other repair. Tell us
Yep.
about that.
We have a community workstation where we allow people to come in and work on their own bicycles. A lot of people take advantage of that. We also have outside, we have a community workstation outside with a pump that we leave out there 24/7. A lot of my classes are designed around what I've learned as a certification for myself. I started out having evening classes probably 6 years ago, definitely 6 years ago, where people would come by and we'd do 2 or 3 hours a night for a few nights a week for a few weeks. And also then I decided, because of the shortage of qualified mechanics, to offer a certification course where it allowed the area to improve with quality workmanship with bicycle repairs. And so, I'm a certified mechanic, and also we have part tool certification that we offer the people, and the classes are very popular. They're starting to fill up. We still have openings left, but it's a great thing. And with the community workstation, we show people, if they're having a tough time doing something, we help them do it, so they can see that, because it's better than YouTube.
Okay. Craig's been around for a while now. He moved here from Harvard Center. You moved here maybe about the beginning of March?
Yeah, March 1st we moved in. March 1st. So, and everything, I was, since next year will be my 10th year in business. We moved, I was originally in Lancaster. I had a mobile service in Lancaster, then I moved to Bolton for a brick and mortar. And then after 2 years in Bolton, I moved to Harvard Center underneath the general store, and worked underneath this store for like 7 years in the cellar, And
yeah.
I was always in the cellar. I had to get up and see daylight finally. This is great.
This is
a great
heaven.
location. And the people are friendly here. I'm really thankful for the people that...
And a lot of the customers that you have obviously are coming back here.
Yeah,
so.
But a lot of new customers also, and the community's been very supportive, and they're very thankful, because we're not bike snobs. Like I mentioned before, we just treat people like, hey, I have the same concerns as you have. This is how we can help you.
Right.
Just keep it simple. So.
Now I have a specific question. Cities, towns, states have all been using more and more street space and old railroad beds for walking and biking. How much of that has helped hikers?
How much?
Bikers?
That has helped hikers tremendously. There's Mount Wachusett, but Wachusett Regional Trail Coalition. There's a group in Littleton and Acton, and there's also a few groups in Concord, which are joining rail trails together. And Mount Wachusett Regional Rail Coalition, their big concern is to help communities, other towns, get grant money to help establish trails, walking trails, riding trails, hiking trails, to connect all these different trails that are, each town has their own little soul connections and stuff, but we're trying to bring everything together, and with the community, the help from the community, we're able to do that.
Now, all the specific information on the maintenance and repair classes is mentioned in your website. What's your website? Could you give that for us?
Our website is ckbikes.com. It covers all the web page is full of all the information on the bicycle classes, updates on new bikes coming in, and just a lot of good, healthy information for families and friends.
Good. Any final thoughts?
I just wanted to thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate the support of the community, my friends and family, and we're here to help people. If we can make this grow, we can enjoy the fresh air. After COVID's over with, it'll be in the books, hopefully, and just so everyone can grow together with the experience, because a lot of families have come together. A lot of families have come together during these times, and it's really nice to see families come in here as a whole unit. And it's, they want to just improve themselves. So, but once again, thank you guys.
Okay, and we thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to have CK Bikes in town.
Yeah.
You're a great asset.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I would shake your hand, but...
No, we can't. After the vaccine.
All righty, thank you.
By the way, the Johnson General Store was a family-run business that was a mainstay here in town for 3 generations. Okay, now let's switch gears and visit with Dave Erickson. Dave has one of the most popular antique stove shops in the country, with buyers coming from all four corners. But right now, let's visit with Dave and see what he has in store for the restoration of the fountain. Okay, we've been inside CK Bikes, and now we're on the outside across the street from Erickson's. And Mr. Dave Erickson is here with me right now.
Thank you.
Dave is in the process of restoring the old fountain that sat and still sits in front of the store. David, tell us what you're doing here.
Well, I was asked by the Littleton Historical Commission earlier this year if I could do some restoration work on the fountain, because it had gotten in a pretty rough condition with both rust as well as missing components. We're probably one of the only towns in New England that still has one of these fountains that will be completely functional when I'm done. It was an apparatus that not only lit the area with a street light, it was also a water fountain for humans. It was a drinking trough for horses, and the residual water from the fountain, from the horse bowl, also went into the dog bowl, so even dogs could drink at so it served everyone. It's a beautiful cast iron piece. It was made by the Concord Foundry and Machine Company in Concord, New Hampshire, and it was given to the town by the Littleton Grange in 1912.
Give us some specifics on what you're doing to the light, and will this water be running again? Will it be able to run again?
Well, we're working on that. I'll start with the light. Now, the light has been missing for many years, probably over 50 years. And through an old photograph that used to actually hang in the back of Johnson's store many years ago, now CVK Bikes, I saw a photograph of what was a kind of a gooseneck street light. And I came across this gooseneck street light from an antique salvage dealer in Boston, and it took a little bit of doing to marry the light to the existing post. That's what that cross arm is. There's a special fitting inside of that cross arm. I had that made custom to fit. So we've adapted the light, and because we want to have water to the fountain, what we don't want to have is 110 volt electricity. So
last thing in the world.
I converted the light to solar. I purchased a modern solar post lamp, and I just cannibalized the solar components, and I have now made the light solar. Comes on, it charges its own battery, comes on and off by itself in the evening. So we've got the light working. We have cleaned. We've taken the fountain apart. It was broken in several places. We've done all the welding. We've done the sandblasting. We've sealed the bowl with a very rust inhibitive rubber primer so that it will never rust again. It was very badly rusted inside. We've primed it, we've painted it, and now we're in the process of trying to get this antique bubbler working again. I'm working with the town water department. The water department has already put a new curb shutoff in the street, so that's done. During COVID, I think public fountains aren't allowed, and certainly not a good idea. So we may not get it running as a drinking fountain this year, but I'm considering temporarily making it just a fountain where we fill the bowl, the horse trough, with water, and I put a small solar operated fountain pump in, and it may just run like just a fountain, just to get it up and working.
Sure, and then hopefully when the
COVID
is all
passes,
gone,
we'll
have it
we'll work again with the town
functional.
water department to get it as a drinking fountain.
That's
when I
fantastic.
came to Littleton in 1976, when I bought the depot, this was a running drinking fountain.
I remember that.
People used to come. I remember many people coming out here on weekends with their trunk of their car full of gallon jugs. They'd come from the city, from Belmont, Watertown, and they would come to this and attach a little rubber hose and fill their water, because they knew that Littleton had such
Ice cold
water.
spring water.
Yeah, no, we have great water here in town, tribute to our water department. So I'm hoping to get it back working as a fountain again. The last thing I still haven't done yet is there's a missing access door for the to get at the inside of the base, and we're going to replicate a door and cover that. I should get that done in the next week. But we're very, very close to completion. And of course, the other thing we did, because it had been used as because it's been used as a planter for a number of years by our Littleton country gardeners, I was able to find 2 sets of matching floral urns, the matching pair here, and the matching set of 3 on that island. So we've given the country gardeners are doing a fabulous job of adding color to the island, and my fabulous neighbor Brad Miller has been doing a great job of keeping them watered every day. So it's a community effort to fix this up.
Fantastic job, just like all the great jobs you do across the street at your
Thank you.
wood stove shop.
Thank you very much.
In addition to restoring the fountain, Dave also gifted the town the old restored clock that's sitting with the park benches that are on the common. The clock was presented as part of Littleton's 2014 tercentennial celebration. The clock had originally been at the site of an old Friendly's restaurant. Well, that's today's show. Thank you for watching, and you have a great day.